And we're live to review the Blade 7 episode, Sand. Written by Tanith Lee, who wrote Sarcophagus. So, which was also, I had to prepare Jeff and Morgan for by sending a little bit NF-y, that one. That was the one with Callie and the alien that looked like her. Alright then, so I will...
Oh, so that's why they had a callback to that. That's the same writer shouting out to their own episode.
Oh, it could have been similar to that other one you didn't like, Shadow. But yeah, probably more to Sarcophagus. Alright, I'll read this out then. Synopsis. A Federation expedition consisting of 3 men and Servalan goes to the planet Virn. Their mission is to locate a unique trace element first identified by a team that was mysteriously lost 5 years ago. On landing, the pilot stays with the ship, and the rest go in search of the base, with one of the men dying mysteriously on the way. Scorpio also heads for the planet with similar intentions. Tarrant and Dana teleport down, wounded in an engagement with the Federation team, and returns to the ship, unknowingly bringing traces of sand with her on her boots. Tarrant kills the other male Federation team member. Does he? Tarrant kills the other male. He and Servalan then declare a truce while remaining suspicious of each other and investigate the abandoned base of the original expedition. Right. On board Scorpio, meanwhile, Villa seems afflicted with lethargy, and the computers apparently go haywire. Both Tarrant and Avon realize that the sand on the planet is a living being, which feeds off the cellular energy of humans. It kills off most males in any given group, and keeps the females in the dominant male for breeding stock. The trace element turns out to be a preservative that keeps corpses fresh, so that the sand can feed off them. Tarrant and Servalan, drawn together by their plight, make love. Later, both Tarrant and Avon discover that water destroys the sand. Avon uses Scorpio to alter the atmospheric conditions of the planet and cause a rainstorm. Tarrant and Servalan allow each other to escape to their respective ships. Because Tarrant's a donut. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts on this episode?
It started out boring and then became creepy garbage.
Could this be the worst episode yet, from your point of view?
I was thinking about that earlier, like, you know, it's you got to get a little far removed, you know, to be able to say, like, but because I remember Weapon was pretty bad, Shadow was really bad. That Sarcophagus one you mentioned was pretty bad, I think. There've been a couple that have been pretty bad, but this one, in fresh in my memory, seems like it's the worst. Yeah. So that hope that you gave me for things improving, like, seemed to be true for a bit, and then just this just. No,
the other ones are of a standard that's like the ones before. This is just the one that's in between. I think you'll like the next ones.
So this is the last terrible episode, is that what you're
Yes. Yes, this is the last terrible episode.
I really want to believe you.
Okay.
I have to say, though, the green sand thing, like, if this was like a 1940s horror movie or something like that, that might actually be like, that concept itself was one of the few things in this episode that's not garbage. The thing is, you know, you can take elements of this and turn it into something good. So it's not completely 100% useless. That's why I said I would only give something a 0 if there was absolutely no redeemable qualities in it whatsoever. And that isn't the case with this. So there are things in it that could be used for something good. This just isn't a good thing. that it's used in.
What good qualities do you think there were then? Do you think
The sand thing was kind of, like I said, it could be used in a horror movie effectively. Avon had his moments. It was funny because Morgan said the thing about this being very the NF thing with him. Like, I had that one scene with Avon where it was like, one of the NTs on the staff interjected, "No, you need to do something with like a probability logical thing." So they stuck that one thing in there.
I bet your older brother would have liked that upon seeing this episode.
Yeah, them. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt and saying that Peter Tuddenham, is that his name? Who plays Orac? Yeah. I'm going to say that they didn't give him a script. They just said go nuts, and he came up with that stuff. Because it's funnier that way. If they were just like, have Orac go weird, and so he just ad-libbed some stuff. And of course, if that was the case, he probably wouldn't have said the "I love you" thing. Maybe they told him to make sure you say that, but you can say other stuff because that was tied into the other thing. But yeah, I mean, everything with Servalan and Tarrant was complete garbage, and repulsive and mind-numbingly bad in every possible way. Sulin looked quite lovely in this episode.
Did you notice the Doctor Who actor?
The Doctor Who actor. Let's see. Besides the people that have been in before, there was only like 3 other actors, I think. I didn't recognize any of them.
Right, okay. I'll give you another clue. One of the actors in this episode was in a Tom Baker story.
Well, there's a lot of Tom Baker stories.
Was in the first Tom Baker's first season.
I still didn't recognize him.
Was in Genesis of the Daleks.
Was it the pilot guy?
The bald guy, Stephen Yardley. He played a Muto in Genesis of the Daleks. He's a good actor.
Oh, okay.
It's like he was part of this series called Howard.
So he was the investigator.
Yeah, Investigator Reed. Yeah, he was a good actor there. There he is, playing Ken Masters in the late 80s, Howard's Way.
I remember you showing me that before.
Yeah.
Was there a different person that's already been on the show from that?
Yes, that was for the guy at the back. You know this guy here. The one who was the captain in, the second episode. And you thought it was somebody else, but that's his name, and he played an SJ. That guy.
Okay.
Glyn Summer. Glyn. We've got Glyn. Glyn Owen. Yes, Glyn Owen played the guy in. Remember, he was on he was the leader of the. And there's the Mara. No, the Rani. Sorry, the Rani. Oh, you probably don't know about her yet. I won't talk about the Rani. Right.
Well, I know of the existence, but I've never actually seen any of the episodes.
Right. Okay.
Contain.
Right. Yes. So.
Because there are 2 episodes named after her, so I'm aware of them.
Yes. Mark of the Rani and Time in the Rani. Right. So Stephen Yardley. So. But yeah, he did look very different when he was in Genesis of the Daleks because he had like longer hair, and he was like playing a mutant and completely different character. I'll tell folks here that I counted Morgan saying trash only 4 times, and garbage at least once. And I think the funniest line to me was towards the end, and to me as a classic, is when Servalan said, I have a negative report to prepare, which is what we've done for this episode. Now, so I have the will the maximum power guide entry come to the rescue of this review?
Well, I mean, they textbook set up the you just described the story thing, so we know what that's going to be. It has to be, otherwise they're slacking tremendously.
So what do you think the... okay, we'll
This is Dana and about something about, like, I don't know why we've come. This whole thing's been ridiculous.
Right, so what do you think you described the story is going to be?
I just said that.
Oh, you think it's going to be Dana's line? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, this is what we're going to... I'm now about to start. Any other sections that you think you can predict?
Well, I'm sure they'll bash on Tarrant plenty.
Or maybe things that you would put in.
Because they don't like Tarrant, so I'm sure they're gonna have plenty to say about him. And they'll mention people drinking red.
I'll tell you what we can do. Oh no!
You've been eaten by sand, Ben? I asked Ben if he'd been eaten by sand, because all of a sudden there was just like a weird sound, and then I heard Ben going, "Oh no!" Now I hear nothing. So I don't even know if he can hear me. But it didn't kick me out. It's just like frozen up.
I'm back.
Can you hear me now?
So it was. I had a little bit of a. I went a little bit too long before I. So
You're eaten by sand?
maybe. Now this actually is from something better. This is from Red Dwarf 10. That's a good-looking woman. There we go. Rebecca Blackstone.
Scary to me.
Pardon?
Kind of scary to me.
Well, she is a bit of a. She's the new ship's computer. Right. So that's the one grab from this episode. That'll be the thumbnail, and then we're going to go to here. Oh yeah, I just want to show. Right, oh no, we'll go here. Right there. So I'll go a little bit and leave Jeff to read through this and comment on it.
They failed. None of the rest of it matters because they failed on the you just described the storyline.
Okay.
This episode features some sand. Evil sand. Evil vampire sand. Yeah, here's your bit of useless trivia. I was almost called Sandy. That was one of the names that we're considering.
Wow.
Or considered Elliot. So, all things considered, I'm glad that I got named Jeffrey. Because I could have been Sandy or Elliot. Yep, I predicted the reference of drinking red.
Right then. So we'll move on to the next page. Right. See if I can. No, I hope it's not. Will you do the honours of reading some of this out, Jeff?
If I get to something that's actually funny or interesting, I will.
Okay.
But I don't want to waste my voice just reading stuff.
Fair enough.
I don't remember Servalan making a noise like a chimp.
I don't
I
either.
don't know what a space rice is either.
Oh, very quickly, in a trice. So in a trice, in a very short time.
Oh. Jacqueline Pierce gives probably the best performance of her tenure. And I disagree with that. Her best performance was back when they first introduced her because she didn't seem like a complete ninny at that point. She was effectively cold. But, you know, also a little bit creepy, but in a way that sort of, you know, fit. I mean, this was just like soap opera reject stuff.
Yeah.
And even Days of Our Lives wouldn't have wanted to put this on. Okay, they got me with that. After all this to set up out for in this story, watch out for the bit with the sand. This is the only episode of Blake 7 to be both written and directed by women, which is probably why everyone spends all their time bleeding emotional and crying and stuff. It's kind of funny about eavesdropping on Terry Nation brainstorming a character name. Percussion bullets, yeah, I think Morgan mentioned that. Apparently they weren't able to drum up any interesting scenes. Rim shot. Is that it?
I think that's it. That's it.
Alright.
Right. My review is I used to like this episode. I thought Tarrant's a bit of a donut for not killing Servalan. And then I don't like it anymore.
Don't blemish donuts with mentioning Tarrant in the same breath. Morgan and I had some donuts earlier. They were tasty.
I don't know what to say about. Yeah, Tarrant is not a character that is growing on me. He's worse than I remember.
Well, that's good, especially if he grew on you like sand. So previous to this, in the last review video, I think when I was dissing on Dune, I mentioned Dune and how boring it is. This actually was not as boring as Dune, but it was creepier and stupider. Although certain scenes in Dune are creepier, but in a different way. A little scary way, as opposed to just being repulsive with characters that are terrible, like being attracted to each other for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Tarrant and Servalan. Oh. Deary me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to give this one out of 10. I might give it 5 out of 10, which may be my lowest score. I don't know.
I think it is your lowest score. The only thing that could pull this up to a 2, other than just Sulin has an attractive face and Avon says and a few things that are, effectively Avonish. Like I said, there's a couple of concepts of the sand thing and, some of the elements of that are not terrible. So there's a part of me that almost wants to give it a 2, but then the garbagey parts are so bad that it's like it pulls it back down. So I guess I will have to give it a 1.5.
So this is Kinder territory.
Oh yeah, it's worse than Kenda. Kenda I gave it 2.
Yeah.
Kenda's the worst Doctor Who story, at least on television, that I've encountered so far. There is one audio story of Doctor Who that I've listened to that's worse than Kenda. One called Lou Garou or something like that. Really bad.
Is it worse than Sand?
Yeah, it's worse. Because, well, I guess the only thing that's better about that than Sand is that since it's on audio, there's no visual. But it manages to it's basically not a Doctor Who story. It's a werewolf thing with the Doctor and Turlough thrown in for some reason.
Right.
Like they don't even there's entire episodes in it where they're barely in it, so it's not even really about them, it's just completely, useless.
Right. All I can say is that the next episodes after this are better. And
well, that's good because it couldn't be much worse.
Right.
There's only 4 episodes left, so hopefully they'll go out with a bang.
And the only thing I can say in defense of this episode is that Jacqueline Pearce's acting is quite good. But
I can't even agree with that. But I can't really blame her because I don't know how her acting could be good when she's given such garbage material.
well, you see, a lot of it was based on her real life. This elements of
her
this
real
plot.
life was garbage.
Well, she had a
Sorry
few.
to say, Jacqueline.
Well, she had a few nervous breakdowns in between seasons.
By no means am I mocking mental illness or anything like that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that as an entertainment program,
I think you might like the real person more than the character.
Probably so.
I
like most real people, which actually makes me rare because a lot of people don't. But I'm one of those rarities where I can find the good in most people that I encounter.
So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
And even most programs I encounter. Because I even was able to find a few good things to say about this. So that shows that I'm always looking for the good stuff.
I don't know what else to say about this review. Does Morgan want to say anything?
Now he's listening to some Japanese garbage.
Okay. Right then, so I think that about wraps it up. What do you think, Jeff? Do we need to say anything
All
more
right.
about this episode?
Bury it somewhere deep.
Right, there we go. We'll leave with those words. Bye, bye, folks.
In the sand.
In sand, yes. Bye, very good. Bury the sand under some sand. Right.